Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. We are going to, as always, take a look at all of the top blockchain and crypto news from the past week. That's March 24th to the 31st, 2025. And wow, we have 10 stories this week. 10 huge stories from, we got big financial players, we have regulatory shifts, and even crypto making its way into international trade. So, a lot to unpack. And our mission, as always, is to help you understand these key developments.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and we're drawing all of our insights from a fantastic report that summarizes the top blockchain and crypto news from that period. It's a great resource for anyone who wants to keep up to date.
For sure, yeah. And look, we know you're busy. You want to stay informed, but who has time to read through mountains of articles and reports? That's where we come in. We do the digging, we filter out the noise, and we bring you the insights that matter. All right, let's kick things off with a big one. Fidelity investments. They're dipping their toes into the stablecoin water.
Yeah, this is huge. Fidelity, a major player in traditional finance, is testing out a dollar-pegged stablecoin.
Mm-hmm.
And, this isn't just some small experiment. This signals a real shift in how institutions are viewing crypto. They're not just watching from the sidelines anymore. They're getting in the game.
For sure. I mean, this is Fidelity. They manage trillions of dollars. So them exploring stable coins, it lends a lot of legitimacy to the whole space. And the report mentions that this is just a testing phase. There are no immediate plans for a public launch, but, the fact that they're even considering it is huge.
Absolutely. And, it's interesting. The report also points out that the current political climate, what it calls supportive political stances on crypto, is likely a contributing factor. It seems like the political winds are shifting, and that's creating an environment where big institutions feel more comfortable diving into crypto.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, regulatory clarity is everything in this space. Now, let's shift gears a little bit. Ethereum, the once dominant smart contract platform, it seems like they're facing some headwinds. The report mentions a pretty significant decline in Ether's price.
Yeah, Ether's down about 40% over the last 3 months. That's a big drop, especially when you compare it to how well other blockchains are doing, like Bitcoin, Solana, and Cardano.
Yeah, it seems like Ethereum is kind of lagging behind. And the report highlights a couple of reasons for this. One is the whole meme coin frenzy. These new, often joke-based tokens have captured a lot of attention, and that's drawn investment away from more established projects like Ethereum.
Yeah, the meme coin craze is definitely a factor. But also, you have these newer blockchains like Solana that are gaining popularity. They offer faster and cheaper transactions, which is a big draw for developers and users.
Right. And Ethereum's notorious for its high gas fees, those transaction costs that can sometimes be really, really high. So, I can see why people are looking for alternatives. The report also mentions internal disagreements within the Ethereum community and delays in key technical upgrades as factors.
Yeah, it seems like Ethereum is struggling a bit to keep up with the pace of innovation in the blockchain world. And this raises a really important question. How do established blockchains like Ethereum stay competitive when these new, more agile platforms keep popping up? It's a challenge they're going to have to address.
For sure. Now, let's switch gears again to something completely different, Wyoming. They're making big moves in the crypto space with their own state-backed stablecoin.
Yeah, Wyoming's been pretty forward-thinking when it comes to crypto. And now they're taking things to the next level by testing out their own stablecoin, WYST, across multiple blockchains. And this is a really big deal because it's the first time a state government in the U.S. has actually gone beyond just talking about crypto and actually implemented something.
Yeah, it's like they're creating their own digital dollar. The report emphasizes that WYST is designed to be very secure, it's over-collateralized, and there's strict regulatory oversight. So, they're clearly trying to build trust and stability from the get-go.
Absolutely. And, this could set a really important precedent. If Wyoming's experiment is successful, we could see other states following suit. And that could have a huge impact on how money and governance work at a local level. It's a really fascinating development to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. Now, let's circle back to Bitcoin. The report indicates that Bitcoin's price surged this week, jumping from $84,000 to $88,500. And this seems to be at least partly driven by some comments from former President Trump.
Yeah, that's right. Former President Trump hinted at some flexibility in tariff strategies, and that sent a ripple through the market. It just goes to show how sensitive crypto prices can be to global events and political statements.
Absolutely. And the report also notes significant inflows into Bitcoin investment products. We're talking about a massive $724 million flowing in. And on the flip side, Ethereum actually saw outflows of around $86 million. So, clearly there's some contrasting sentiment there.
Yeah, it seems like investors are doubling down on Bitcoin while maybe having some doubts about Ethereum's future. And
Mhm.
this is just 1 week of data. But it does provide some insights into how the market's viewing these two leading cryptocurrencies.
Okay, let's talk about regulation. It appears the SEC is trying to engage with the crypto industry in a more direct and public way. They've launched a crypto task force roundtable.
Yeah, this is a pretty big step. The SEC held its first public meeting of this task force, and the focus was on how existing securities laws apply to digital assets. And, this is really important because there's still a lot of uncertainty around how crypto is regulated.
Yeah, I mean, the rules of the game aren't always clear,
Right.
and that can make it difficult for both companies and individuals to operate in the crypto space. So having the SEC take a more proactive and transparent approach, that's definitely a positive development.
Absolutely. And, it's interesting. The task force is being led by Commissioner Hester Pierce, who's generally seen as being pretty crypto-friendly. And they've also included participants from the crypto industry.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're really trying to get a balanced perspective and create a regulatory framework that works for everyone.
Now, speaking of traditional players getting involved in crypto, we have an interesting partnership forming between Trump Media and Crypto.com. They're teaming up to launch some ETFs.
Yeah, this is another sign that the lines between traditional finance and crypto are blurring. Trump Media, a major media organization, is joining forces with Crypto.com, a leading crypto exchange, to launch ETFs focused on American industries.
And it looks like the market reacted pretty positively to this news. Trump Media's shares reportedly jumped by 9%. So clearly there's excitement around this partnership.
For sure. And, for the average person, this could make it easier to invest in crypto. ETFs are a familiar investment vehicle, and having them available for crypto assets could open up the market to a whole new group of investors.
Okay, now for a story that serves as a reminder that the crypto world is still very much a wild west, we had a massive hack of the Bybit exchange. We're talking over $1.4 billion stolen.
Yeah, this was a huge security breach. The hackers were able to exploit a routine transfer by manipulating the underlying smart contract code. Yeah. And, even though Bybit has assured users that they'll cover the losses, this kind of event shakes confidence in the whole system.
Absolutely. I mean, security is paramount in the crypto world.
Yeah.
And this hack is a reminder that, even seemingly secure platforms can be vulnerable.
Yeah, it's a wake-up call for everyone in the space.
Yeah.
We need to constantly be improving security measures and staying ahead of the bad guys.
Okay, moving on. It looks like the demand for stablecoins is as strong as ever. The report mentions that Tether Treasury minted a billion USDT on the Tron network.
Yeah, stablecoins are a really important part of the crypto ecosystem. They provide stability and liquidity, and they make it easier to move in and out of different crypto assets. So, seeing Tether minting more USDT, it's a sign that the demand for these digital dollars is still very high.
Yeah, it seems like stablecoins are here to stay. Now, here's a story that really caught my attention. Russia and Bolivia are reportedly using Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for international oil transactions.
Yeah, this is really interesting development. It suggests that crypto is starting to gain traction as a legitimate tool for international trade. And, this could have some pretty significant implications for the global financial system.
Absolutely. It challenges the traditional dominance of the US dollar in international trade, and it could open up new possibilities for countries that are looking to diversify their payment options or bypass traditional financial systems.
Yeah, it's definitely something to watch closely. Now, lastly, let's talk about meme coins. The SEC has finally provided some clarity on how they view these often controversial tokens.
Yeah, the SEC has clarified that most meme coins are not considered securities under federal law. So, that's a big win for meme coin creators and enthusiasts.
It is, but, it's important to note that the SEC is still urging caution. While meme coins might not be securities, they're still very risky investments. So, don't go throwing your life savings into Dogecoin just yet.
Yeah, a meme coin by any other name is still a speculative asset. So that's a wrap for our deep dive into this week's top blockchain and crypto news. We've covered a lot, and it's clear that the world of crypto is constantly evolving. We've seen big players like Fidelity making moves, governments experimenting with their own digital currencies, and even hints that crypto might be starting to play a role in reshaping international trade. It's a truly dynamic space, and it's fascinating to watch it all unfold.
It is. And, as we've discussed, these developments raise some really profound questions about the future of finance and the role of technology in our lives. How will these innovations redefine our understanding of money? How will they impact global commerce and the balance of power? These are questions that we'll continue to grapple with as the crypto world matures and integrates further into the mainstream.
So for everyone listening, keep exploring, keep learning, and stay engaged. The world of blockchain and crypto is only going to get more interesting from here.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
Until next time.